I got involved with Greenpeace about 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago. And what initially drew me to Greenpeace was that I was interested in global activism. And when I was looking into the organization, seeing that the Greenpeace had a presence in 44 different countries and a membership base of over 3 million people was really inspiring. But more inspiring than that was the fact that they were independent. So having studied politics in college, finding a nonprofit environmental organization that really didn't take any corporate or government money and had the freedom to go up against any issue in any way they wanted was really inspiring. My name's Georgia, and I was born and raised in Indiana, and I work on board as a deckhand. So that involves a lot of different things. Depends on what campaign we're doing, but we do lots of deck work from maintenance, painting, chipping. There's lots of rope work on board, so there are days when I get to sit and splice line for the painters or for handles or ladders, and that's something I enjoy doing a lot. Working on the ships is a really amazing experience, and it's really inspiring in a lot of ways, but it is also really difficult, and it's a lot of hard work. And as I said before, the kind of work we do varies, but there are some constants, which is that, often we're dealing with heavy mooring lines where we're bringing the ship alongside or leaving port, lots of chipping and painting, grinding, using tools, all sorts of different kinds of tools to get things done. A lot of times it's really hot. So it is a lot of physical work, and it is a lot of hard work. The work that the Arctic Sunrise is doing on this particular expedition is to try to bring as much different science, as much different independent science to the disaster as possible. We're gathering data from all different aspects. We were doing plankton tows, where we were looking at blue crab larvae and plankton to see what the effects of the spill were. We were also looking at whale sightings, and these acoustic arrays will be doing water sampling and looking for oil on the bottom of the ocean, and basically trying to see what the real impacts of the deep water disaster were. Greenpeace is in the Gulf, and the Sunrise is in the Gulf, because we really are trying to send a message to the world that we need to stop offshore drilling altogether. And Deepwater Horizon, the disaster there, is terrible, and you can see its effects everywhere, which is what we've been doing on this tour, is collecting science from all different aspects to show the effects of this kind of disaster. But the truth of the matter is that these disasters happen all the time, all over the world, and it's just showing when it happens this way, it's bringing it to the surface how much of a problem offshore drilling and our dependence on oil really is. And so what we're hoping to do is not only keep it in the public mind so that these issues get solved and the people get helped, and that as much of the oil that can be cleaned up and it's not forgotten about and pushed away, but also that we can bring into the forefront of people's minds that we need to find an alternative, and we need to move toward renewable sources that aren't going to cause disasters like this, that aren't going to cause disasters that will affect people's lives and the earth for countless years to come. And the science is part of that, but also just being here and sending that message and reminding people that there are alternatives. And even though it seems very desperate right now for a lot of reasons, that there is an energy revolution and that that's possible. And that we all need to not only work toward that and hope for it, but actually start taking the steps to make that happen by pressuring our politicians, by reminding people about the devastating effects of these types of disasters, about stopping future drilling from happening, and about promoting the renewable sources of energy that are happening now. And what Greenpeace is really able to do is to provide a platform for scientists to do independent research. And you see it all over the news, where you have all of these scientists that are only getting applied funding, which means that any report that they write or any data that they collect has to be approved by BP or another kind of entity. And obviously that's preventing a lot of the real information from getting out. And so it's really important for us as Greenpeace to be able to provide that platform. And it's not about what exactly the data says, it's making sure that that data is retrieved and that it gets out to the public so that we have an honest assessment of what the real problem is. I couldn't think of a more kind of powerful or useful way to spend my time than to get on board the Sunrise, to be part of that mission of gathering different kinds of science and bringing this idea of hope and this international crew to the Gulf to say it's about all of us, and not only work from the environmental side of things saying we need to stop offshore drilling now, but also from the people side of things saying that, you know, we have this international crew and this global problem of our consumption of oil, and we're here in the Gulf to support the people and know that they aren't being forgotten about. Should have greased my hair or something.